The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.
Welcome back to another Keefer and Kurre right here on Tony Kurre Radio on the TKR Network. And, of course, wherever you get your favorite podcast, we are about ready to add our 19th podcast, my friend. So we're getting thousands, hundreds of thousands of listeners every single week. It's unbelievable. We're very, very proud of that. And, of course, a lot of it has to do with our television show, which I owe to you. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to go on ABC 3340, starting lineup every single Saturday morning. We're talking March Madness and more as we get ready for Selection Sunday coming up a week from Sunday. It's going to be unbelievable. You just heard Need to Know. Hope you got a chance to listen to everything about Zelensky and everything that Kip was talking about and the deep state and everything else. I was watching the Oscars last night. Did you watch some of the Oscars last night?
Not much. Tony, I'm surprised we're still making movies. I don't think I've seen a movie that was. It
was great. Conan O'Brien did one of these improv commercials, like it was a fake commercial, where he said, "No longer will you have to stream on this," and it shows a TV and then shows a phone. He said, "We're now building buildings where you can actually stream movies in a giant movie." He said, "We're taking 800,000 phones, we're putting them side by side, and it's creating this thing called a movie screen where you can actually go watch movies." And the one woman said, "Well, how do I make it start? How do I make it start?" He goes, "It's great. You just sit there and they run the movie for you. And there's no commercials." Yep. It's fantastic. So, the movie industry obviously is having a little bit of a hard time. It's hard to feel sorry for people that make millions and millions of dollars doing what they
has there been a movie in the last 6 months you've gone, "Oh, God, I got to go see that"? I don't ever have that anymore.
No, I wanted to go see The Conclave, but I'm a Catholic kid. I heard it was pretty good. No, nothing, Wicked. I saw the Wizard of Oz. I'm good on there. And I guess, what's the name of the movie that won all the awards? I can't even tell you the name of the movie.
I just read about it a few minutes ago. I forgot.
Like the Substance with Demi Moore. It looks really, really good. Looks very interesting. And then what's the other movie that's it's only been like in 12 or 13 different theaters or something like that. And it's
geez.
So, yeah. Anyway,
most theaters, though, to their credit, now have lounge chairs. They have food and beverage service. I mean, I got to get back to the movies. That sounds pretty good to me.
No, the ones over Vestavia, man, they have recliners. Now you're gonna go. If you go somebody, it's $100 for a movie. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's $100 if you want to eat dinner. And again, they serve ribs, the whole 9 yards. If you want to, if you want to have a dinner and watch a movie and make it like a 3-hour thing, it's going to run you about $89 or $90.
Yeah, it's only $30 an hour. That's pretty good.
But if the movie's good, then I'm okay with it. So I watched it last night, and out of the blue, that was not on the night for the night. They didn't have it on the what am I trying to say? The schedule for the night.
Okay.
They announced Mick Jagger coming out on stage. And of course, I was just like, wow. And I heard going into the break, there's a classic rock icon coming up next that no one expected. So no one knew he was going to be there. And so he comes out to announce the award for the original song in a movie. And it was fantastic. He is so badass. He looks so good. He looks so good. He's 81 years old. He came out and he looked real. And it was amazing too, Kip, because there's not a lot of people that can go up on stage and blow away.
Oh yeah,
Hollywood.
Celebrities.
Hollywood is so full of itself. It's so bloated. It's so look at me, look at me, look at me.
Mick Jagger.
When Mick Jagger got up on stage, even Elton John and Bernie Taupin were in the crowd. Even they were like aghast. They were like, "Holy smokes!"
Oh, that's awesome.
Mick Jagger on stage.
I am sorry I missed that.
Oh, it was fantastic. And of course, he said, I wasn't the first one they picked to be up here. And who else would you pick? He said Bob Dylan was supposed to do this award, but he declined to do it because one of his songs from his movie is actually nominated in this category. And so he just had, and I don't know if that was a joke or not, but Mick did up, and he said, of course, they needed someone a little younger than Bob, and I'm happy to do that because he said, I am 2 years younger than Bob. I'm 81, so I'm good to go. It was fantastic to see Mick.
That's great.
You and I were speaking before you did Need to Know. I did a little research. I wanted to go back. The life expectancy right now in the United States of America is 78.6 years. Okay, 78.6 years. That is slightly down from 79.7
Is that for men
years.
or for all people?
That's for all people.
Okay.
And I know there's about a 3-year disparity between men and women. So I went 78.6 because I'm talking about rock and rollers who are both men and women. 79.7 years of age in 2017. It fell all the way to 76.1. We lost almost 4 years of life. Think about this. When you lose 4 years of expectancy in a 4-year patient, of course, that was because of COVID. So if you think COVID was some conspiracy and millions of people didn't die,
Oh
do
yeah.
your homework. I ain't going to get into the vaccine, anything else. Millions of people died from it. It was so critical and so crucial that our life expectancy actually fell by a couple of years. And I thought that was really interesting. So The Economist did an article back in 2019 to find out if rock stars' life expectancies are anywhere near what they are for their average human being.
Interesting.
They found that the average rock and roller is a 1.7 times more likely to die from something you and I would die from at the same age. So in other words, if you would get the flu at 79 and they would get the flu, it would kill their ass. They have a 1.7 times more chance to lose their life as opposed to us. The reason I bring this up is it seems like, and you and I did this great show a couple weeks ago, Dead or Alive, where we went through a list of all these rock and rollers. We were talking about Paul Anka and talking about Frankie Valli. And unfortunately, we were talking about Gene Hackman. He was on the list. And of course, he was 95. He just passed away. He was on the list. And so we went through all these rock and rollers. And you were really good at it. You knew exactly, Dead or Alive.
I got about 75%, I guess.
Yeah. So a notable study there in The Economist also found that you could expect the life of an average rock and roller to be about 23 years less than the average human being.
No kidding.
If you took,
it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, it doesn't. Only though when you take in account the Robert Johnsons of the world, the Kurt Cobains of the world, the Jim Morrisons of the world, the Janis Joplins of the world, maybe the 27 Club. When you take all those rock and rollers and put them
Jimi
Hendrix, to the average rock and roller, you could expect that down. So
that makes sense.
I turned 59 on Friday, and of course I got 3 kids. I got a 20, I got a 17, and I got a 12. And my 12-year-old is going to be turning 13 here in April. And, you really start feeling old as hell when you have kids because your kids ask you questions like, hey, Dad, how old are you going to be when you're going to allow me to start dating?
Yeah, so I was going to say, your life expectancy with a teenage daughter who's as beautiful as your daughter, your life expectancy isn't good at all.
No. And so... So right away, I'm thinking to myself, okay, 30 minus 13 is 17, 17 plus 59. I said I'd be 76. And I'm thinking, holy shit, 76 years old before I'm like, there's no she's like, there's no grandchildren in your life, Dad. If you're going to wait till I'm 30, you got to get no grandchildren for me. And I'm like, you know what? That's true. I mean, I'm not going to see a grandchild one. So it really starts making you feel a lot older. And I told you this before, that this 59 thing is something that I've been setting myself up my entire life. Like I always go upper, middle, and lower, right? So if you're upper 40s, you're not 50 yet. If you're upper 50s, you're not 60 yet. And so really you're not upper 50s until I say you're like 59. So now I am knocking on 60's door. I am knocking on that door. I've already got the AARP crap that comes to the door. I'm already getting special senior discounts at Piccadilly. I'm getting all this. And so it's really from a mental standpoint. So that's one of the reasons I went and had my shoulder done in December. I went in and had my neck done. I've lost 20 pounds. I'm like, and I know you've lost a lot of weight. I'm like, I'm not being vain here. I've gotten some frost in the hair.
No,
I'm like,
this is survival stuff.
It is. Thank you. It is survival stuff. Now I have a special needs boy who is going to turn 18 this year. And have no idea what his whole future holds. I'm a one day at a time guy. People are like, what are you doing next week? I don't know what I did yesterday, and I don't know what I'm doing tonight. I enjoy every moment for the moment I'm in it. It makes time go a little slower. I said, but I did tell him, I said, man, I will be here till I'm 90. I said, I can give you that. And he goes, really? I said, yeah, that gives me 31 more years, which sounds like a long time. That sounds pretty good.
It does. Heck yeah. I mean, that's if you do the math, Tony, that's a whole nother third of your life at the point you are now. So
it's almost two generations, right?
Yeah.
It's so if I can go, so that made me feel a lot better. I started feeling good about myself. I was like, okay, 31 more years, and it's another third of a life, right? Because once you get past 50, you're going to go 100. So that puts him at 50, and so I felt pretty good about, okay, him being 50, I'm gone.
Yeah.
So now that's assuming that I live 12 to 13 years longer than the average life expectancy in the United States of America. I used to drink a lot. I had a good time. I partied my ass off, but so did Mick Jagger, and he's at 81, and he looks damn good.
Yeah.
I don't see him not going at least another 10 years. Do you? He looks fantastic. I mean, the guy's moving around. I mean, he's 81 years old. I go to church on Sundays, and half the congregation's in their 60s, and they're using walkers. And this guy's up there, 81 years old. I know he's got a workout regimen. And so, I know these guys. I've interviewed these guys my entire life. I've seen these guys in concert. I know what they do backstage. I've traveled with rock and roll bands, and I know that for the most part, you can't get away from anything. At some point, you finally have to put all the shit down. I think Keith Richards said he stopped smoking like a couple of years ago. Well, he's 80 years old, I mean, like, at what point do you stop smoking? Why now? He's like, yeah, I had to kick the habit because you don't want to be around.
I would have bet big money 15 years ago Keith Richards was down to his last days. It's unbelievable that guy's still alive. He looked like a corpse in 1997.
It's unreal. So I guess the point is I wanted you to talk about age a little bit. Do we learn anything? I think what I'm learning here from rock and rollers is there's no reason why these guys have to still go on the road. Eric Clapton just mentioned he's going to go on the road. There's no reason.
They do it because they love it.
They do it because they love it. And when you do stuff that you love, you live longer.
Yeah, I told you our pal Monty Ballard went to up to Franklin, Kentucky, where there's a racetrack and casino, and they have a performing arts center about a month ago, and he saw Gary Puckett in the Union Gap. Gary's like 86. I mean, he had hits in the early 60s, Tony. And one of them was young girl, so maybe that's what kept him youthful. He was messing around with that young girl. Get out of my life. My love for you is way out of line. So good grief. These guys.
I wonder. Go ahead.
I was in Atlanta this weekend, and I was with all my 5-decade friends. I mean, I think of the 8 guys that we got together for dinner, 7 of them I met in 8th grade. Wow. And 4 of them are still my very best friends in the world and have been from that point forward. And I tell you, just a couple of hours, you talk about, you're getting to a certain age, but you start telling all the war stories and the laughter and just the camaraderie. I mean, I felt 20 years younger in that process. You don't really dwell on age if the time you spend. I think the more time you spend by yourself, or the more time that you sit around thinking about things, the better. If you can have a quality of life that's really as good as it can be, I think that really sustains and prolongs you more. So I came back with the firm resolve that I'm just not going to sit around here and watch the clock and wait till bedtime. I got to get out and live my life a little bit, because I've really kind of allowed myself to just get completely consumed by what I have to do every day, not what I want to do.
Amen. I'm so glad you said that. I knew you were going to make me feel better after listening to you talk. I sat right behind your friend Don yesterday at the UAB basketball game last night. Yeah.
Nice.
He was sitting right in front of me.
Gets out there. Boy, he's everywhere.
He said he was going to send you a picture. We took a picture of ourselves.
Oh, that's great.
He said send it to you. And so we for like 2 hours during the UAB game. Of course, they're playing Memphis. I'm trying to watch the game, but at the same time, and he's such a great guy. And we were reminiscing about, because I've known him for 40 years.
Yeah, amazing.
And I mean, every bar we were bringing up, every bar we'd ever been to, and it was so fun to bring those things up and bring me a warm and fuzzies for sure. And I didn't realize just how blessed I am. And how blessed I've been in my life, that first of all, God's allowed me to live it. but live it pretty healthily.
Yeah.
That's a word. But you're right, man. I mean, I don't want to sound like we're doing some bucket list thing here, but my son, who loves trains and elevators, wants to go for summer vacation, wants to go to Roanoke. And I said, Roanoke. And he goes, yeah. I said, why? And he goes, because there's a bank of elevators there, Dad. I got to go to Roanoke.
Elevators.
I got to see these elevators. It's down on Market Street. I just saw a video on it. There's this guy named Diesel Ducey that does these crazy videos, and he's got special needs, and he does these. And my son loves it. And I said, you know what? Let's do it. And my other son looked at me like, what? I said, we're going to Roanoke. I said, let's have fun. I said, we used to go camping. We used to point in the middle of the thing. We had a camper. We point in the middle of the thing, and we go Manchester, Tennessee, or wherever we were going to go. It could be in Colorado, wherever we were going to go camping. We didn't know if they had a campground or not, but we did it. I said, this year, we'll still go on our beach vacation, but I said, we're going to take a week, and we're going to go to Roanoke because I've never been there. My son talks about it all the time. I said, let's try something different. Let's go somewhere. We've been to the beach a million times. My daughter wants to go to, Aruba or something. I'm like,
yeah. Well, I'll give you a tip. My mother got transferred after her divorce. She got into business and did really well. They transfer her to Virginia Beach, which a lot of people from our end of the spectrum never think about. It amazes me here in Alabama, Tony, and I know you've experienced this too. When people go, yeah, we're going to the beach this weekend, and stupidly I always say, what beach? And they go, well, Gulf Shores. Yeah. I said, just in, folks, there are thousands of beaches, and there's a whole big body of water on the eastern coast of the country called the Atlantic. Mm-hmm. Virginia Beach is a great beach town. Really, really good. I used to get to go up there for Christmas and holidays and whatnot the 3 or 4 years she lived there, but not that far from Roanoke, so you could kill 2 birds with 1 stone on that
trip.
There
you go. I might do that. But yeah, just the idea of I think that watching Mick Jagger, knowing that he's lived the life he's lived, and I realize it's a little different because for every Mick Jagger, there's probably 4 rock and rollers that I don't really know really well that didn't even make it to their 80s because they just drank themselves to death, and you get the Hank Williams Juniors, and you got your outliers like your Willie Nelsons who are like 190 years old and they're just still smoking dope and they seem to be happy as a log in a pond, but it does motivate me to see someone that's still 81 that's still doing things they love to do. Because I think that you and I, see, we do things that we love to do. I know how much you love radio. I know how much you love television. There's some days where you don't want to do it. But I mean, for the most part, you come in, you bring a happy face. I've always told a friend of mine, he'll come on the air and he sits there and talks about whether he's got a cold or he's kind of down in the dump. I said, listen, people don't listen to you to be brought down. They listen to you to be lifted up, okay? It's not to say you can't be real. It's not to say you can't share your life with people and tell people how you're feeling and stuff, but people want to be entertained. People listen to Stephen A. Smith. They listen to Kip Keefer. They listen to Tony Kurre. They listen to the starting lineup. They listen to Don. They listen to these people. They listen to these people because they want to be entertained and they want to be happy about themselves. They want to laugh. It's not to say you can't be real because it's life. Life is real. There are tragedies in life, and you can certainly share those if you want. But people want to tune. They know the last thing they want to hear. And I always tell somebody, stop telling everyone you're tired. I'm tired of hearing people that are tired. I'm sick and tired of hearing sick and tired. Everyone's like, I'm so tired. Well, go to sleep. Go take a nap. Go to bed. It's because you're drinking energy drinks at 12 o'clock at night, and then you're taking no-dos or whatever, or Ambien until 3 o'clock in the morning, and then your ass is sleepwalking at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, then you're wide awake again. That's why your ass is tired. Stop taking all the shit.
My assistant and her daughter actually drove me to Atlanta because they had a girls' weekend while I hung out with all my friends. And on the way back, they're stopping every 15 minutes for Red Bulls. And I asked my assistant, Marlo, I said, what time did you get up today? She goes, 4 a.m. I said, what the hell for? You were in Atlanta on vacation in a Marriott. Why would you do that? She goes, I'm just used to that. And I said, well, that's just absurd.
It's crazy.
People get patterned and may make all these rules for themselves. If I sleep past 5, now you get up ridiculously early, but that's just, but it's not because you are duty bound to do it. It's just, I don't know. Yeah. It's hard for me. Yeah. And like you said, I've never heard you ever say I'm exhausted. I mean, you just go.
Well, yeah, if you're tired, go take a nap. We're all tired. We're all tired. Everyone's tired. Everyone's tired. Period. Everyone's tired. Since COVID, everyone's getting the flu and getting some kind of crap. We don't know what the hell it is. It seems like it's lasting 4 or 5 weeks longer than everything else. So everyone's got this crap. So just, go do your thing. It's not to say I don't think about you. I'm praying for you. I'm thinking about you. I love you. I hope you don't feel. I got a couple of my clients that are really sick right now, and my thoughts and prayers go out to you. But I mean, everyone says, oh, I'm so tired. I'm like, we're all tired. We're all tired. We live in this life. And I think a lot of it has to do with, of course, with social media and with we've got things in our face 24 hours a day now. Every time you wake up, there's something in your face. Every time you go to school, there's something in your face. Every time you go to work, there's something in your face. We have no downtime. And like you said, there's a big difference between being lonely and being alone. And we need to do a better job of being alone. And now I'm saying that, and now all of a sudden we're being told to stay 6 feet away from each other. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I just wish we could slow down a little bit, the whole aging process to me. And I don't know about you. Having my kids every other week, people always say, hey, enjoy every moment because it goes by quick. We'll cut that in half. And man, ever since I've gotten that thing in my life, time is just flying. But dude, it's March. I told my son last night. I said in 9 months in 8 months, Halloween will already be over.
Oh yeah, it's Christmas
He's like,
time.
What? I said, yeah. I said, hell. I said, I still haven't taken on my Christmas lights. I said, there's no reason to. I said, it's gonna be June before you know it. I said, then I'm gonna be putting crap back up again. I said, why even do it? Just leave it up.
Just make them 4th of July lights.
Exactly. So I don't know if anyone's learned anything. I hope they've enjoyed hearing us talk about old times. I want to thank Mick Jagger for being at the age of 81. The dude's got two children that are 48 years apart. He's got an 8-year-old.
That's incredible. Tony, do you think Carly Simon's going to crank up a sequel to You're So Vain? Because that was written about Mick Jagger.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite part of that. Well, you went up to Saratoga and your horse naturally won.
Yep.
Then you flew your Learjet to Nova Scotia to see the total eclipse of the sun. That sounds like a pretty damn good day to me.
That sounds like a great day. That sounds super. All right.
Good for Mick.
Good. No
Quality
doubt.
of life. That's the lesson here.
And you got to promise me that because I don't want to give. Someone said, and I'll leave you with this, and this should make some people feel good. I may have been talking to you about this. I was talking to someone. I said, man, something else I'm really getting tired of hearing is I'm retired. I'm hearing a lot of people say I'm retired. And first of all, I just had to restart my life at 53. Okay. At 53, I had to start all over again. Don't give me sympathy. I'm fine. I'll figure it out. I was excited. I was blessed that God was giving me a second shot, give me a second chance to have 2 lives in one. But I mean, I just went all the way down to ground zero and I had to start all over again. And I'm still in the process. I finally got my legs and my feet and everything. I'm starting to walk again. And it's a beautiful thing. And I could not be more blessed. I'm happier now than I've ever been. I got 3 wonderful children and I've got a wonderful intimate relationship.
You're a great
with
dad,
Jesus.
by the way.
Well, thank you.
Always proud to see you.
But so I got a lot of friends of mine that were in law enforcement, firefighters, teachers. They did their 25 years. They get out. They're 52, 53, 54, and they can retire. Now, they can't stop working. They are officially retired. Some of them can, if they've got a wife or someone else who's working. And most of the time, she'll tell him to get his ass out. You're not retired. Yeah. Go find a job at Aldridge's or something. Go feed some plants or something. Get out of here. Yeah. And then I realized to myself, I was talking to my son last night. He asked me if I was ever going to retire. And I said, Santo, I don't think I'm going to be able to. And he said, well, the good thing is you're already kind of retired. And I said,
you work more than anybody I know.
And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, you love what you do. You get up every morning, you get a smile on your face, you talk on the radio, you get good friends like Kip and stuff, you do television. He said, you enjoyed what you do. I said, yeah, I love it. I said, I really do. I said, if I need to take a day off, I could take a day off. He goes, so you're kind of retired because most people will work a job they hate for like 30 years. And then when they retire, they get bored as hell. They got nothing to do. They can't play golf every single day. The wife is telling them to get out of the house. What are they going to do? They got to go find something. So what do they do? 9 out of 10 of them will go back to work somewhere. They'll end up working at Publix. Yeah. They'll start bagging groceries.
Walmart
they'll do something.
Greeter.
They'll make the Walmart greeter. They'll start doing something just to have something to do. Because
I think I saw Joe Biden the other day when I went to Walmart. But he couldn't remember the line, "Welcome to Walmart."
So my son said, "You are retired." He said, "You are retired," and he said, "And you're self-employed retired." He goes, "So you can kind of make or break whatever you want to do." And he said, "And you get to do what you love to do. You don't have to bag groceries at Publix." I said, "You know what?" I said, "You're a pretty brilliant kid." I said, that's really smart thinking." He said, "So he said, you've kind of been retired your entire life." He said, "Because you've loved what you had to do. You've always done things you love." I've never, ever worked a 9-to-5 job, ever. And I don't know too many people that can say that. I've never had to sit in morning traffic. I've never had to sit in afternoon traffic. I've never had to sit in 280. I've always been driving at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, driving home at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But I've never had to work a 9-to-5. And let me tell you something now. When I lost my job at Cumulus and the wife was gone, the kids are gone, everything, I had to start all over again. I thought, okay, I got to make this work because my ass ain't going back 9-to-5. There is no way. When you don't work 9-to-5 your entire life, that seems alien to a lot of people, and that's what a lot of people do. So I've been super blessed. So you're right. I am retired and I'm good to go. And hopefully I'll make it to 90. How about that?
Well, I like your chances.
I do. I like my chances.
I mean, we don't know what's along the way, but you look at some of the people that have gotten to that point, and the good thing is it's a reachable goal if things break your way, and if you put. I think you've done a really good job of laying that out. That's 31 more years for you. That's a long time. A lot of people don't get that many years. Period.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
If you get to live a third full quadrant of your life, that's phenomenal.
I'll take that, brother. Hey, I'll see you on Saturday for, of course, our big March Madness coming up here. We've only got this will be the last Saturday. We'll have one more Saturday before
Alabama Auburn, the rematch on the Plains on Saturday.
Yep, that's going to be a monster, and I'm assuming that College Game Day will be there. They weren't there this past week between 5 and 6 in Alabama and Tennessee. But a lot of people, that was the better game, obviously, than A&M in Florida, but they weren't going to be there because they were going to be at Bama again coming up the next week. So, yeah, it's going to be a very, very impressive and very fun SEC basketball season. So we're going to be breaking it down for you.
And the SEC tournament should be awesome, too.
It's going to be unbelievable. That to me, that's the tournament. I mean, March Madness is great, don't get me wrong, but that SEC basketball tournament, it's going to be unbelievable.
Well, because look at this league. LSU and South Carolina are the bottom feeders, and they have both gotten wins over some of the teams at the top. That's the difference in this league. And it was the same thing in football. SEC football, the bottom teams, except for Mississippi State, actually had quality wins over guys up in the top 8 or 10 in the conference. Really? If you look at the Big Ten, that never happens.
Yeah, our bottom feeders were always Vanderbilt and Kentucky. Remember we always said Vanderbilt and Kentucky were W's? Not anymore.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Kentucky wins at Ole Miss and knocks the Rebels basically out of the playoffs with that game. And Vanderbilt, of course, beat Alabama, who also was sitting on the sidelines at the end of the year. So that did the bottom 6 teams in football in the Big Ten. Not a single one of them had a win over anybody in the top 10 of the conference.
You got it, brother. I'll see you on Saturday.
I'm looking forward to it.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio.